I always say, like, you should know your buyers like a friend. And I use the analogy of, you know, on social media or see a movie or you see a joke about something, and without even thinking, you immediately know the two friends that you're going to send it to, because you know their humor, you know what they like, you know what they don't like, what they find funny, what they don't find funny. And to the point where you should get like that about your buyers, that you know them so well that before you do anything, whether it's an offer or a deal or a new feature or whatever it is, you know how they're going to react. You know what's important, what they need, what they don't need, what they're trying to do.
Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Push podcast. My name is Jack Ferguson, an experienced marketing and sales consultant with a science background, and I'm your host. This season of the podcast is essential listening for small and medium-sized companies looking for their next stage of growth. Myself and other experts will explore common problems in marketing, product, and sales. We will deconstruct them and then detail straightforward, evidence-based remedies for you. I aim to give you both inspiration and practical solutions to push through similar challenges in your own company. Thanks for being here, and don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Hello and welcome to episode 16, season 3 of the Push podcast. In this episode, we're going to discuss why you aren't getting immediate marketing results. Specifically, we'll cover strategies to enhance the effectiveness of your short-term marketing tactics, whether ads, blogs, and/or social media work, how to drive more sales with the friend test, insights into what is preventing you securing immediate marketing results, what you can learn about marketing from poker strategy, how to engage a niche B2B market, whether sales is just a formula, and how to align your short-term marketing tactics with the needs and behaviors of your buyers. For this episode, I'm joined by product marketing specialist Alex Urquhart, and we will give you plenty of practical takeaways in this punchy episode. If you want to find myself or Alex online, you can find links to our online presence in the description of this episode on whatever platform you're listening to this on. Let's get started. Hello, Alex. Welcome to another episode.
Glad to be back, mate.
What are we going to talk about today? I'll answer that question. I'll answer my own question. Why doesn't my marketing work now? So that's a question that I field from time to time, and you may as well in your work. But a lot of people in the business world want to do marketing in inverted brackets or inverted commas, should I say, and they want it to work right now. And by work, they generally mean make sales now. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start this episode by answering why it doesn't work right now. One being that when people talk about marketing, they're usually referring to comms and advertising, and that plays generally a small role in a sale. So if you want to just run ads and just make tons of sales just now, it doesn't work, because that's a small part of what might influence someone to buy from you. Mm-hmm. So there's one thing. It also comes back to the buying process. So if you've got a complex product, or you've got a product that has a longer sales cycle, as in people consider it for a while before they buy from you, there's multiple people that need to approve the purchase, you can't get them to just buy today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They have to go on a journey to buy from you. Mm-hmm. So it can be, it's time lagged in lots of ways as well. So that's how I'd answer that question out of the gate. We can share some stories around what we've seen throughout our careers. But in a nutshell, that's some of the issues around why it won't work now, that you don't have any existing brand equity potentially with that person that sees that ad or that communication piece, and they may only look at it for 2 seconds and then move on with their life.
And I always hear when people try to define what marketing is, and it's really, I've never heard a clear answer. I don't think there really is a clear answer, but I see it as it's your understanding and relationship with your audience. So think of if your audience is a big audience of people, quite literally, big group of people, what is your relationship with them and whatever you're selling, your product or your service or your whatever it is. And I think, to your point then, people see marketing as ads or as comms or as emails or as social media, and it's that can be parts of it. I think those are your channels to your buyers, but I think the marketing is how you do it in general. And I think as an example of that, and I heard this really good one the other day of, it's doing the rounds on LinkedIn. There's an image of a store, and it's like a cosmetic store. And as you walk in, it's got two baskets. And have you seen this before?
I haven't, no.
It's like a black basket and a white basket. And the black basket says, if you use this to shop, black basket means leave me alone. don't ask if I need help, don't offer me the sales today. And white is, I would like help, please give me some guidance. And of course, most people chose the black, and everyone was favoring that because most people want to be left the hell alone. And there was an interesting debate on this because someone said, oh, cool, so therefore you just let them go entirely. People totally let them go. Because I said, then what would the sales and marketing strategy look like for this? And someone said, well, there is none. That you just said that. They're not going to talk to them. I said, well, that talking to them is one channel.
Yeah.
What about what does your store layout look like? What does your signage look like? What does the music look like? How else are you influencing that buyer? How are you helping them to get from don't know you, starting their journey, to hopefully a very great experience, and then they finish with buying or whatever it is that you're trying to sell them? And I was like, that's a really interesting way to look at it, because I think people go, to your point before, they go, well, you're not selling to them because you're not advertising or communicating to them. But that's not the point. The whole marketing is what's, I guess, the psychological or emotional influence that you have over the buyer, or that you want to connect to your buyer with. So yes, I think that's really important to note as well, because most people go, got a marketing problem, our ads aren't working.
Yes.
Probably not the ads. Ads work. I've seen ads work. I know ads work. It's probably the way you're doing it. You probably don't know your buyer. You may be selling to people who hate ads.
You're probably expecting too much from the ads.
Yeah, that's right. And to that point, big theme of this episode, I think, is we talk about knowing your buyer journey. And if you've ever been lucky enough to talk to a marketer, that's all they ever talk about. They don't shut up about it, because it really is everything. Like you have to figure out, if I'm a car salesman, how do people buy cars? What type of people buy cars? When do they buy cars? And knowing that if I'm selling someone a car, is it better, to that point before, do I leave them alone? Have I got a higher chance of this person having a great experience and purchasing if I just get the hell out of their way? If I give them a pamphlet or a video or whatever, I'm not sure what the medium is, but I need to understand how they, in the first stages of getting awareness. So how do they know that you exist? What stages do they go through? But I think one of the best things you can possibly do, map out the buyer journey, not your selling journey, but the buyer journey, not how you take them to your website and then you give them a video. Don't worry about any of that. What does that person do? Do they go, I've got a problem, I'm going to Google a few solutions, I'm going to go on some forums, product reviews, ask my mate down the road what he thinks, go test drive some cars, like maybe read some blogs about, like, I'm not sure what is my process to buying. And then it's the company's job in marketing to then position themselves in those areas. So that Cars Guide website, like, I know I'm pretty sure it's owned by a company that sells cars, which is very smart because it gives them a platform to go suss out the pricing and the details of cars. And it's like, great, now I've got your attention. Here is a place where you can buy said car. So yeah, I think that's really important to know. Marketing isn't comms, like you said before, or advertising. I think it's deeply knowing the buyer, their journey, what they want, what they don't want, and then whatever that looks like around them.
Yes.
Could be social media, could be billboards, could be anything.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was a great example with the black and white baskets in a store, because, yeah, like, again, that's someone saying, oh, well, you're not selling to them then, but that's one part of the experience. That's one factor, one variable. And then someone might feel really respected by being given the opportunity to say, leave me alone. That's
right. And that's kind of funny, because not doing something could be your marketing thing.
Yes.
You're giving them what they want.
Yes.
Leave me the hell alone.
Yes.
Don't tell me about the specials today or push me to buy something. I'll probably buy something, a higher chance of buying something if you just leave me the hell alone. Or they may not. Again, this is where the whole testing thing comes in. Maybe they say that, but then they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they get wafted around the store and they end up leaving, like knocking things over and causing everyone issues. Yeah. So yeah.
Like, I want to underpin this episode with something that Mark Stouse, who's the CEO of Proof Analytics, says. Follow him on LinkedIn, everyone. He's amazing, actually, what he says. But he talks about how there's this expectation of determinism, of a formula of like A plus B plus C equals sale and equals sale now, when in fact we actually live in a probabilistic world. So marketers and us, we increase your chances, and usually increase your chances a lot, but we don't control outcomes because sales is multivariable. There's a lot of things that factor into why someone might purchase something, and it's often time lagged. So the work you do now to connect with someone and build a relationship or build your brand with a potential buyer pays off later. And that's just the reality of it. But yeah, I think thinking in terms of that determinism versus probabilistic is a good place to start understanding that this is a game of probabilities.
Yeah, 100%. My favorite saying to this is, marketing can only ever be optimized and influenced. Like you can't take a buyer and make them do anything. It's convenient for us to say this because I guess it can be like a get out of jail free card for agencies or consultants because like, well, I can't make them do anything. But I say it because that's the fact of the matter. Like if there was a way and if I could find a way, or if I knew a way that I could directly amplify your marketing or your buyers or your sales, your growth, whatever, believe me, I'd be doing it. And second of all, if I had the power to go into any company and 10x their growth in a month, I'd be retired.
Yes.
I wouldn't be doing this.
I was about to say, we'd be recording this on a private jet right now. If that was doable, that's what we'd be doing.
And that's what I mean. Like you can bring in people or whoever, employees or yourself. You can always optimize and put yourself in positions. It's like poker versus like say car racing. Car racing, you've got full control of your car. You've got competitors. Yes, you could be faster than them, but you can determine you're in control of what's happening. Whereas like in poker, there is definitely better poker players and there are worse poker players. But the idea of a good poker player is they can't control the deck, the probability of what the other person's going to get, but they can put themselves in an opportune position and go, given my cards look like this, that's what's on the table. Probably high chance I'm going to lose this. And old mate's acting like this, so I see his tails. I'm actually going to pull out because it's not smart for me to do it right now. Or chances are with these cards, 80-90% chance I'm going to win. I'm going to double down on this.
Yes.
And they may still lose. But the whole point is like you can influence and put yourself in opportune positions, but you can't just do marketing and see success.
Yes.
And I think I say that not to make us look better, but I say that in terms of like I'm trying to save you pain.
Yes.
And because I know people have spent years and years and years searching for this secret formula, secret ads,
the silver bullet, yes.
all the time. And I would say it doesn't exist.
No.
It just doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
And if you do, see a change that dramatically increases something, that was because of everything else that's also around it.
Yeah.
That then you just added the last piece to.
Yep.
So, but I'll give a couple more examples that I've seen throughout my career about how marketing might not work right now. Is that I walked into more or less a BD job a few years ago, business development, sales, and no one had been doing that job in that organization for 6 months before I was there. So there was no pipeline at all. And later, I didn't know at the time, but I wanted to make short-term sales. Right. And I didn't inherit anything. I didn't inherit any pipeline. Because customers don't care about my KPIs, right? If they don't know you, or prospects don't know,
customers don't care about your KPIs.
And I've joked with people about this before. Is like my targets work for me, but they don't necessarily work for my customers 100%. Or my prospects.
If anything, they hate them.
They're
never going to do it.
So on that note, you really need to make sure that you do things consistently. And that's what I always will say is let's do what's consistent and sustainable first, because you don't want that happening. You don't want don't have a salesperson for 6 months and then bring one in needing short-term results quickly. No, just stick with it over time.
Yep.
Because you have to build a relationship with people. You have to have pipeline. There's no short without the long, and there's no long without the short. So you need short-term results for cash flow and to fund your company, but you also can't get short-term results typically, especially in B2B, without long-term brand building and relationship building and people knowing about you for months or at least weeks.
Back to the point around knowing the buyer journey inside and out and deeply about it. I always say you should know your buyers like a friend. And I use the analogy of, on social media or see a movie or you see a joke about something and without even thinking, you immediately know the two friends that you're going to send it to because you know their humor, you know what they like, you know what they don't like, what they find funny, what they don't find funny. And to the point where you should get like that about your buyers, that you know them so well that before you do anything, whether it's an offer or a deal or a new feature or whatever it is, you know how they're going to react. You know what's important, what they need, what they don't need, what they're trying to do. And so I worked for a company where we did webinars and they worked amazing. Like it was by far the 80-90% of our pipeline was from that. The audience loved it. They got a lot out of it. It was a big win-win situation. And we just doubled down on that, worked really well. Worked for a later company and they saw that success and they were like, we've been interested to do it. So we're keen to do it. And I said, yeah, absolutely. We started doing it, and they wanted tier one companies, like large, thousands of employees, tier one, highly complex companies. And within those companies, there was really only one, maybe two, but usually one buyer or one person that was their persona. And in all of Australia's small compared to other markets, but there was probably 100 people like 100 potential buyers, and they already had maybe 30 of them that they'd converted. So you're looking at 70 people you got to convert. And so when we did webinars, it worked. It was good in the sense of like it built a brand and it built, I guess, social equity. Like people knew it. And I was like, well, that's one tactic. Back to the basket example. Maybe to get to them, if we can't get directly to them, maybe we can do these webinars that influence everyone around them. Everyone keeps talking about it. Everyone's inviting me to see the brand. You build familiarity, trust. That could work. But then what we found, like, he sort of did it, but it wasn't getting us the conversions. It wasn't getting people through. So I looked at that and I was like, well, how about instead we just do like an event? Like if there's only 70 people in the whole country, we need to go directly to them. And so instead of going, say, marketing one-to-many, ads and blogs and stuff, let's go direct and do an event where we invite 20 people to a room, put on a free couple of beers, and do a presentation about something that's helpful to them or interesting to them, build a relationship, build a connection, talk to them. And like it worked. It cost substantially less effort, less time. There's the uncomfortableness of presenting and all those things that it's far easier to hit a button and sort of run an ad. But the point was, it's not that webinars do and don't work. It's not that BD doesn't work. It's not that these things, it's just a matter of that buyer and their preferences and the way we were selling and how we had to connect the product to the person varied very much. And there were things that worked more effective and less effective. So that's the whole thing of like people sort of go, oh, we want to do ads, or we don't want to do ads, or we want to do blogs, or blogs don't work. They all work under the right circumstances. It's a matter of which flavor is going to bring the most opportune results, I think. And one, there's testing to that, but two, that's when you lean on sort of agencies or experts in the field to go like, what do you think I should do? I think in that particular sense, I would even say, turn the webinars off, turn off the ads, do a newsletter every now and again, because you've got to have things like you've got to nurture who you're engaging with, like some form of keeping in touch in a positive way. But then as far as like BD and sales, be direct.
Yes.
And they did outreach. Direct outreach wasn't as effective because these people get peppered by emails every day. So I was like, okay, that doesn't work. Stop doing what doesn't work. I think when we say like, why doesn't my marketing work now? I think to your point before, if you're starting from a standing start, it takes time. And also, is what you're doing actually hitting the person on the head? Is it either nurturing what you've currently got, or is it finding and progressing what's already there? So I think that's sort of really important. And complex sales too, like the more you go down the rabbit hole with those ones, Elena Werner, I think I've spoken about before, she's amazing. She's a growth expert, probably the best in the world. And she talks about like attribution in B2B. So attribution being, we ran an ad, we got this result. The more complex the B2B, there is like a science that it's almost impossible to explain. They don't know. There's up to 60 touch points now for a sale. So they hear about you, have a conversation, see an ad, read a blog, go to an event. There's all these things. And 99% of the time, it's like, oh, I spoke to Brett who works at so-and-so. He went to school with him. He's a good bloke. He recommended I talk to you. And you're like, thanks, Brett. Like, saved me 20 grand in 6 months. Was it Brett, or was it the last 40 touch points behind Brett that led him to that point?
Yes. Or the combination.
100%.
Brett plus the touch points. Brett was another touch point.
That's right.
But he was an influential touch point.
And then I go, well, what was his touch point? It's like maybe he had a really good experience one day, or he went to school with the CEO. I don't know. But it's very complex, and there is no definitive answer there as well.
Yes. Well, cool. I reckon you've nicely summarized why your marketing might not be working right now. Someone might not be near purchase in the buying journey. There might not be anyone near there. You know, you can make sales cycles shorter, but you can't go from 18 months to 2 weeks.
Yes.
You know, and certainly not consistently or reliably.
Yes. Or like if it's taken you 6 months, the last 10 sales. Yeah. Your 11th's not going to be 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah. And I heard the other day that your sales cycle is a direct representation of your brand trust as well. To going, there's, for example, people like, SAP or Microsoft or whoever, these big companies. There are literally companies out there who go, we'll buy SAP next quarter for $5 million or whatever it is. And it's a huge, complex 12-month implementation. And they'll do that purely because they know SAP and they trust it, and they're not going to get fired for buying IBM, which is the old saying. It's like once you get to that point, you're so elite, you've got the trust, you've got the brand equity, you can move way faster and way easier. Some sales guy is going to be attributed to being like, oh, Brett closed Old Mate.
Yes.
No, he didn't.
He answered the phone and said yes.
Yeah, that's right. It was 20 years of all the work before that got him there. But I think that's when, if that's a mature company. Smaller companies, you have to work for your trust, and you've got to develop your brand and your reputation. And those complex sales, if you're under 12 months, you're doing good.
Yes.
It takes a long time.
Thank you for chatting on this episode, Alex. It's a
Thanks, mate.
pleasure to to talk through why marketing might not be working for you right now.
Awesome. Thanks for listening to my ramblings, mate. Always good
Talk
fun.
soon.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Push Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, and if you are enjoying the episodes, please leave a review of the podcast on your platform of choice. It really helps to build the podcast credibility and to help others find this type of information.